they love you, they're nice, but they'll say कि यार सोनू सूद डायरेक्ट कर रहा है, अरे अच्छा ठीक है यार, अच्छा बंदा, एक्टिंग अच्छी करता है, पर डायरेक्ट क्या करेगा, अच्छा. So they're not taking things seriously. When they saw the first teaser, I got the call from every one of them. They said यार अगली पिक्चर बनाएगा ना बॉस, भूलना नहीं मेरे को. You have to make your own word. Okay बॉस, कोई और नहीं दे रहा तो खुद बनाना पड़ेगा, किसी और ने डायलॉग्स नहीं दिए तो खुद बनाने पड़ेंगे, किसी और ने सीन काट दिया तो खुद लिखना पड़ेगा. Make an action film which is at par with international standards. I asked one day my son Ayan, who's very, very smart, I said, Ayan, why will people watch Fateh? Tell me one reason. He said, Dad, it has to have an action which is never ever seen. I said, like what? An action sequence which has no cuts. When they watch it, they'll say कि यार ईमानदारी से बनाई हुई फिल्म है.
किरदार भी उतना ईमानदार है.
वो बोलते हैं ना, एक फिल्म के अंदर डायलॉग है कि किरदार ईमानदार रखना, जनाजा शानदार निकलेगा.
That he is handsome, that he is debonair, that he is delicious dude is done to that kind of introduction. I'm not going to get into that. All I'm going to say is he is in a full throttle killer mode with his film Fateh. I've just seen the trailer and it looks absolutely sleek and stylish, and adjectives will keep tumbling out. Sonu Sood, thank you so much for joining us on
Thank
the
you so much. Yeah.
Last we had a chat. We were at a mall.
Yeah.
And you were there, even there for a cause. That was a time when you discussed that so much toil, hard work, blood, sweat has gone into this project.
Yeah.
The day has arrived. What thoughts are running across your head?
Pretty excited. I know that you've been almost 3.5 years working on the detailing of the project and execution and everything. This is something very, very special. I would say all the stuff that I've learned in last 20 years in cinema, working in all different 13 languages, working with the best of technicians. Fateh is the moral of the whole story. Trying to get the best of the best on board and making something which I am proud of. I know this is my first film. I'm not saying that it's something which people will say we haven't seen something like that, but I promise you, what people will see will be something
You
different.
certainly have delivered on that promise. I've just seen the trailer. I was counting the biscuits, the ads. Superb. It is of international stature, of that standard. What did it take? Did you conceive it that way in your head? Or has it turned out उसमें थोड़ी बाद में तब्दीलियां होती गई, changes होते गए और inputs आते गए, and then the product has, it looks as refined as it does.
There was an interview of my favorite Mr. Steven Spielberg, in which he said, the day you think that your script is complete and finished, think that your film is finished. You have to keep on changing as you shoot. Sometimes actors will come up with suggestions. You have to sit with the writers, keep on planning, doing something like that. Fortunately, I was a writer also of the film. A friend of mine, Ankur, was also co-writing with me. And I'm very good with dialogues that I've been doing since so many years. So I thought that, I have to keep on adding something which I will miss after I see those shots. So yes, every single day I promise myself that I have to deliver an action film which is never seen on Indian cinema, sound which is never heard on Indian cinema, technicians that the whole country will be proud of, the look, the lighting which I conceived the day I thought of making the film. The film has to look in a particular way. So we got Vincenzo, who's one of the top DOPs, Italian DOPs, Lee Whittaker, top action guy, Loar Kotler, who's been the vocalist of Hans Zimmer, a track from Hans Zimmer. So every single technician of this world is #1 in this space. So yes, it's an effort, and I'm sure it'll pay off.
The film does look as stylish and sleek as you yourself do. Look
Thank
at you, the tapered body, superb, finely tailored. इसका ड्रेस कोड होना चाहिए था, मुझे लगता है आज के इंटरव्यू का.
आज होना चाहिए था. नेक्स्ट टाइम, चलो इस बार आपने देख लिया, नेक्स्ट टाइम हम लोग, you will be sitting in a black suit with a slim tie. Looking forward, brother.
And going by the way it is going, the way I have seen it in the trailer, इंशाल्लाह मतलब आने वाले समय 2, 3, 4, मुझे नहीं पता कितने पार्ट्स आने वाले हैं. But this is like a true hero, like an action hero. Action hero in Bollywood cinema doesn't quite look genuine or real, lifelike. Even if you're projecting it in a certain way, you have that frame, you have that personality. I don't want to praise you, to the moons, but the fact of the matter is you look believable on the screen. What projection goes into that?
All thanks to my mom and dad. I think so there's some
Fantastic
DNA
genes.
that genes that made it happen on screen. But yes, again, to make it more believable, you have to go through that grind that sometimes you go as an actor, that you want to do certain kind of action, but you are not given those kind of shots or dialogues or those fight action sequences. Then you have to create your own word. You have to make your own word. Okay, boss, कोई और नहीं दे रहा तो खुद बनाना पड़ेगा. किसी और ने dialogues नहीं दिए तो खुद बनाने पड़ेंगे. किसी और ने scene काट दिया तो खुद लिखना पड़ेगा. So I think all this journey is very special as an actor when you create your own word and you make people believe that okay, you are worth doing this. Maybe someone didn't conceive the way you should have been portrayed, but now it's time to do it on your own.
Yeah. And you keep coming back to the word dialogue. You love bharpur dialogue, Bazi. But in this one, dialogues are subtle and they're impactful.
Yeah.
Which is your favorite line?
This is a favorite line in which I say कि कहीं पढ़ा था कि हैसियत भी आसमान जैसी होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि ज़मीन कितनी भी महंगी हो, कोई ना कोई खरीद ही लेता है यार.
Talia, guys, Talia. And this whole action scenario that you're building, it doesn't look ordinary.
Yeah.
It is sleek as I keep coming back to that. There is blood. There's so much happening. Keeping that drama intense. Was there any template that you were looking at? Was there any inspiration that you had to follow? Something like that?
One thing was for sure that I wanted to make an action film which is at par with international standards. I asked one day my son Ayan, who's very, very smart. I said, Ayan, why will people watch Fateh? Tell me one reason. He said, Dad, it has to have an action which is never ever seen. I said, like what? An action sequence which has no cuts. I said, okay, sounds interesting. And he said people should put that action sequence as a reference no matter how big the film is. But people should say कि ऐसा action कभी Bollywood में देखा ही नहीं. So I said, yeah, now this thing, your quote has inspired me to make that happen. So I edited something which is a 3.5 minute action sequence with all those small punches, and in our action sequence, suddenly props come from nowhere and which are not believable. There's an action sequence which we shot. So he's fighting with everything that is available. There are plates available, he's fighting with plates. Kettle, pans, rods, which are everything that is around him, he's fighting with that set.
That becomes a weapon.
He's fighting with guns. Then when he has no bullets, he gets the magazine out, he starts fighting with the magazine.
Yeah.
So everything, single thing, he's creating those things into the props. So I made those notes. I edited something into a sequence of 3.5 minutes. I showed it to Lee Whittaker, who's a guy who's shot Fast and Furious and Jurassic Park lot. I said, I want to achieve this. He said, very ambitious. We don't have those many fighters to shoot this kind of sequence. So I said, let's get people from abroad. So people came from Mexico, South Africa. We got whole teams. They did a prep of almost 2.5 months in different regions. And when they came, special rigs were created for the action, for the cameras, to hold it because the cameras are heavy. Those light fiber rigs were created, and we shot that sequence when I'm fighting with 70 guys and there's no cut. But it's magical when I see that film, and you'll get goosebumps when you watch that action sequence. It's something which will always be remembered. Fingers crossed, but something I'm really proud of, and let's hope. All thanks to Ayan for inspiring me to make it happen, and Lee, who's worked with Tom Cruise, a lot of people and all. He said, Sonu, I'm so proud of this action sequence that it didn't feel me that I'm shooting for a film which is not a big budgeted Hollywood film. It looks like wow.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. So fingers crossed.
And certainly the passion project, and you're addressing the menace of cybercrime here.
Yeah.
How does that inspire the story? How does it influence the story?
It's a real, based on real events, I have registered close to 750 FIRs across the country of all the people who were trying to reach out to me, but they were victims of cyber frauds. They are not rich or famous people. They are poor people living in villages who need some kind of help for their medical treatment or their tuition fees or their job-related problems. And they were cheated, and then I started writing those incidents, and I, compiled them into a script which was Fateh, with the backdrop of action. And yes, it's a very relatable script. People will relate to the things happening on screen. So yes, it's a big issue that we need to address today, and I'm glad that Fateh will be able to do that.
And the frame-wise, what has gone specially into this one? Is there a special diet that you maintain, an exercise routine? Because you've always been fit, come on, we know that. 24/7, 365 days a year. The same frame, the solid frame. But this one does look different, in a different way. Please tell us more about it.
The idea was definitely to see a new Sonu Sood. That was one. After doing so many movies, with working with so many different directors, so they create an image for you which people see that अच्छा सोनू सूद आ रहे उस पिक्चर देखा अच्छा काम था अच्छा नहीं काम था जो भी whatever. So they have your image. So you have to break everything. You have to turn those pages. वो बोलते हैं कि हर एक की ज़िंदगी में एक समय आता है जब उसे तय करना होता है कि पन्ना पलटना है या किताब बंद करनी है. So ये पन्ना पलटने का समय था. And I knew that whether it's the fitness level, whether it's action level, whether the way you're going to dress, whether you're going to light the sets, whether you're going to deliver your lines, your dialogue, everything has to be 10 out of 10. Because when you approach actors for films, I remember when I was approaching actors कि यार picture करनी है तो obviously they love you, they're nice, but they'll say कि यार सोनू सूद डायरेक्ट कर रहा है अच्छा ठीक है यार अच्छा बंदा एक्टिंग अच्छी करता है पर डायरेक्ट क्या करेगा अच्छा. So they're not taking things seriously. When they saw the first teaser, I got the call from every one of them. They said यार अगली पिक्चर बनाएगा ना बॉस भूलना नहीं मेरे को. So this is how it is. You have to make yourself believable, and that's what I'm trying to do.
I mean, so many roles you're playing here. Writer, actor, producer, director. How did you demarcate all these, domains in your head first, creativity-wise and of course economy-wise as well? And plus Sonu Sood that we know, someone who gives so much, generous, who wants to help people. How that image will be influenced with the film as the nature of Fateh?
Yeah. Fateh is one character that is very relatable. He's a guy who lives in Punjab but has got superpowers to fight. It's more relatable because the way I have structured that character in what he wears, the way he speaks, is like a common man. But every common man has a superhero inside you. Sometimes we get that superhero out, sometimes we don't. But everyone has it. I feel when people will watch Fateh, they'll get inspired कि बॉस हमारे अंदर भी वो सुपर हीरो कब बाहर निकलेगा. Fight for a common man, fight for the system, and how realistically you have to narrate that story कि it should be very inspiring but real. So that's what an effort I put in while making Fateh. But the idea was very clear. I have to be very sincere to my approach. I have to be very real and very entertaining also.
Correct.
So let's see what happens when people watch the movie in theaters on 10th of Jan. But yes, all I can promise you is that when they watch it, they'll say कि यार ईमानदारी से बनाई हुई फिल्म है.
किरदार भी उतना ईमानदार है.
वो बोलते हैं ना एक फिल्म के अंदर डायलॉग है कि किरदार ईमानदार रखना जनाजा शानदार निकलेगा.
Wow, on that note we wrap. Thank you so much. Sonu Sood, genuinely and honestly, the world is such a better place with you in it.
Thank you so much.
So please continue to do your
Thank
work
you.
in terms of entertainment, philanthropy, whatever comes your way.
Thank you so much. Man. God bless you. Thank you.